One more time, Ali Hassan! Wow. Wow, thank you. I'm home! Hi, how are you? This is so... People! This is so weird. I have to tell you, this is my first job. My first paid job was here at the CNE. I worked for Conklin. This is it. And now I'm back. I said this, I went out on the, I'm going to tell you this, maybe you heard this story before, but I worked at what is called like now the Polar Express. It was called the Vegas Chase. And I went out there today and they let me run the ride again like I used to. Awesome. You know the ride at Polar Express, it goes around and around, and the guy in there, he gets a microphone. That's the first microphone I ever got to perform on. And you listen, I used to go, you want to go faster? And everybody would go, yes! And I go, you want to go faster? And they'd yell, yes! And I'd say, make sure that the orange shoulder harness over your left shoulder is done up securely. We're going upside down in 5 seconds. There is no orange shoulder harness. It doesn't go upside down, but nobody knew. And they're going, no! And I'm a 5, 4, can't buy that! Which was funny to me and maybe you, but I got fired. And here I am, 52 years later, I'm back. I was just out on the Midway and they let me run it, they let me do that again. I did the exact same thing again. And somebody came up to me on the Midway and they go, are you Howie Mandel? And I said, yes. And they said, I love you. And I said, well, I love you too. They said, I love AGT. I love Deal or No Deal. I love Bobby's World. I love everything you do. I said, you know what? I'm playing over the bandstand right now. I know somebody. You want to come see the show? And he went, nah. So I know I'm home. These aren't even jokes. These are real things. I was in the food building. It's hot in the food building. I ate shit that was weird colors, but it tasted good. I was in there. I like that, and I love that they brought me on the first day. This is when the bathrooms are the cleanest. I don't want to be here in week 3, but it doesn't matter. I hover. Even at the urinal, I hover. I try not to touch the floor. You know what the thing is? That I got to tell you this story because it's so great to be here after the pandemic. You know, for me, I didn't realize there was a pandemic. I've been like this for 67 years. I've been avoiding people, not touching things. But I want to tell you, I've been doing stand-up for 40 years. And up until 2.5 years ago, I was doing 250 shows a year. And then, obviously, like the CNE, I stopped. This is my 7th show in 2.5 years. And I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. I am scared. Thank God there's a moat and security. What are you blocking them from? Like, what could happen? What could possibly happen? 40 years, nobody's ever come up and, what are you blocking them? Can you even hear me? You're not responding. I would imagine your job calls for quick response and you're not answering one fucking question. Do you know I'm talking to you? What is the signal? Help!
Howie!
Person! I gotta tell you, it was great eating here in the food building rather than, the last thing I remember is somebody took me to a nice restaurant in New York like 2.5 years ago. It was the last time I was really out in public. And then I excused myself to go to the men's room and they had a bathroom attendant. Here in the food building, there are no bathroom attendants. And thank God, I don't like that. Anybody here, first of all, I don't need help. I am potty trained, like most of you. Like what person, no matter how well you do in life, has walked into a public restroom and go, shit, I gotta do this all by myself? Isn't there anybody? I don't like people there. But I finished and I walked in the sink and the guy's standing there and he just put soap. He put soap on my, I didn't ask, he just put soap on my hands. And then I washed my hands and then he handed me a towelette and I washed, a paper towel, a towelette. I'm bilingual. Look, I'm back in Canada. And I dry my hands, and I don't carry money because I'm a germaphobe, and I don't know what to tip. Like, what would I tip him? Like, if he wiped my ass, that's $20, because that's what Mom used to charge. But I told him, don't worry. Please don't laugh, it throws me off. I told him, don't worry, I will be be back, and I'll be back. And I went to the table, I finished my meal, and I gave my Visa card to the waiter, and I said, could you put an extra $10 on this? I need some cash, and give me $10 cash for a tip. And he goes, don't worry, buddy, you don't have to tip me like that. And I said, not you, the bathroom attendant. And this is the line that ruined me. You know what he goes? You know what he says to me? We don't have a bathroom attendant. Who was that? Who was in there? Putting shit on my hand. You don't do that. You don't do that. And that's the last thing that happened to me in public before I got locked away 2.5 years ago. Even today, I heard Niles talking about Shoppers Drug Mart. When I came here, I haven't even been in a drugstore. Things don't even look normal to me anymore in drugstores. I went there today to go buy a toothbrush and in Shoppers Drug Mart, and I'm walking, I guess the aisle was predominantly female products. Like a lot of moisturizer. Ladies, you seem to dry out a lot more than us. You just moisturize, and this is the other thing. I saw something called, I don't even know what this is, always. Always? Not sometimes, not at the end of the month. Always? What is going on always? Thank God I'm married, because if I saw a woman in there buying always, I wouldn't approach her. She has no time. There's always something going on. Every product was ridiculous. I saw this, Monistat, which I went to buy. I saw Monistat, and this is why I've been married for a long time, so I thought, you know what I thought it was? I thought that's a personal thermostat. No, because my wife's always cold, I'm always hot. If I could just adjust my Monistat, then it would be, but it's not that. It's not that. You know what it, I don't know if I can say it, it's a family, it's for a yeast infection. What is a yeast infection? How many people here, just by show of hands, have a yeast infection? And be honest.
I do.
Like, how do you know? How do you get that, ladies? Is that from sitting on filthy muffins with no underpants on? How do you even know it's hot tonight? I guess you're in a crowd. You would know if somebody beside you has a yeast infection. I smell cookies. But what is it? Is it bad? Is it a bad thing? Be honest with me. Is it? Yes. You seem to be very, is it bad? Does it hurt? Does it burn? Does it itch? Yes. Okay, you're saying yes. So here's my question. There's not just Monistat. It said the product's name is Monistat 7. I read the box, and it says Monistat 7, if you use this, within 7 days, this will be cleared up. There's also Monistat 3. It says, if you use this, within 3 days, you will clear this problem up. And then there's Monistat 1. 1 day, and it's gone. I have a question. What's the decision? Who is making a decision like this? If this burns and itches, I'm attached to this puppy. I want to hang on to it for another week. Why would you buy Monistat 7 over Monistat 1? Why would you do that? Why? Well, why? I'm sorry? No, this is not when you budget. This is not a budget. Rent is due. I saw somebody from CNE saying that'll be a good shot. Take a shot now. I'm doing this, and this is the shot you're going to get. Howie returns. The X is now open. This is so weird. And then, thank you. We have a clown in aisle 6. Who brings a horn to a show? There's a traffic jam in section 4. I heard you. Were you the class clown? Yes. That is so weird. It is just weird being here. It's so weird being out. I was so afraid to go. I'm staying in a beautiful hotel here. I didn't want to go to a hotel. I'll tell you, because another thing that happened, and I've talked about this before, right before we closed down 2.5 years ago, I'm in New York. I'm a hypochondriac. Is there a doctor here? Is somebody a doctor or nurse? Is there a doctor or nurse? What is that? Is that an answer? Are you a siren? You're a siren on an ambulance. Pardon me?
My oldest sister's a nurse.
Good for you, sir. I said, is there a nurse here? I didn't say, is anybody related to a nurse? He's so serious.
There isn't one here, but if you need one, I can call my older sister. She's in Scarborough, so it's gonna take a little bit, but if you need...
Nobody in the medical field right here? Or you are? Are you a nurse? Pardon me? Are you answering my question, or are you saying I see you? Oh, because I was thinking then you're facing the right way. I see you. But the way you answered, as long as it took you to answer, because I've been asking, you should be in security. Because you have the same kind of timing. But this is what I want to ask you. I was in New York, I told you at that time, and my foot was itchy, so I called a doctor. Like you would scratch, I would call 911. And I went to a doctor there, because I live in Los Angeles at 3,000 miles, and he told me, this is what he told me, Howie, you may have athlete's foot. How can that happen? I'm a germaphobe. I take like 3 showers a day, I never wear the same socks twice, all my shoes are new, and he said because you stay in hotels, from the shower or the carpet, you can get it. Is that true, nurse? Yes. Shit. Oh, okay, so it's not funny. Even when I checked in yesterday, at the front desk, I asked for 24 towels, and when I get to my room, I just lay them down. I make a path. I won't step on them. But anyways, he said, buy Lamisil. I've never heard of Lamisil. Have you ever heard of Lamisil? Yes. Wow, oh yeah, I forgot. You all have yeast infection. So I go to the store in New York, and they have it's their Shoppers Drug Mart. It's called Duane Reade. It's like an airport terminal. So much so that they have a greeter. There was a young girl at the front that said, "Welcome to Duane Reade. Can I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm looking for Lamis." I didn't even get his sill out. She goes, "Aisle 6." Like there's a run on Screwed Up Feet in New York. So I go to. Please, this is a true story. I go there and to aisle 6, and I pick up the Lamisil, and I read the box. You know what it said? For jock itch. It did, and there's a 1-800 number. Who would call an itchy nut hotline? Who would call that? I did, because I was alone, and I didn't know what to do. It was a problem. I don't want to talk to the lady. So the woman answers, and I changed my voice, because I think my voice is distinctive. She goes, "Hello," and she goes, "Can I help you?" I go, "Yeah, I have Lamisil, but maybe I was supposed to buy Famisil, or Gramisil, because maybe I have athlete's foot, but this says for jock itch." And this is another line. One line ruins my whole life. She goes, "Don't worry, sir. They're the same thing." Where's the nurse? Is that possible? They're the same thing? They are. Jock itch and athlete's foot. How is that possible? If you're getting that from a public shower, who are these idiots in a strange shower doing the splits? Like I don't want my nuts to touch the drain in my own house, let alone at the Hilton Garden Inn or whatever that is. I just wanted to get out of there. So I go to the cash register and I put down my chips and I put down my nut cream, and the cashier is there, and I give her a $20 bill, and she says, "Do you have a quarter? It'll be easier for me to make change." It's another woman. It was a woman that was a greeter. It was a woman on the itchy nut hotline, and it's a woman cashier. I have nothing against lady. I love you. I love you all. I adore you. I respect women. I know, but let me be honest with you. I have been married for 42 years. I'm going to be honest. People say to the same woman. I'll be honest with you. When I first married her, she wanted to have sex all the time, party all the time. This is not the same woman. Anyway. But she was, we're older, so she was going through a change. The nurse knows it's a physical, I'm trying to put it in layman's terms. I can't put it in, she's a bitch. So we took her to the, I see you. I took her to the doctor, and it's real. She went through the change of life, and she had to have hormone replacement. Like she had to have a patch, an estrogen patch. Not like an eye patch, not like a pirate, a bitchy pirate. Arr, I'm a pirate. No, like a patch, an estrogen patch. She would wear this patch. Her body would absorb the estrogen, and this would make her all soft and feminine again. That was the plan. But that's not what happened. What happened was, we went home, and she went to bed with it on. You're supposed to sleep with it. And we did not know that it came off in the bed. And we did not know that I rolled onto it. So for the next 2 weeks, I was crying at every commercial. I was so sensitive, and the bitch is screaming at me, and I'm going, I'm a delicate flower. What are you doing? But finally I realized I had the patch and she didn't, and we got it all fixed. But the point is that now I have this like PTSD against you vessels of estrogen. Women, I just wanted to get out of there. So I told you, I gave her my 20, she said, do you have a quarter? This is what the problem is. I don't realize what's going on around me. You realize I'm standing at the cash register and people are gathering around and they're looking at me. They're looking at me. And they're looking at my Doritos. And they're looking at my nut cream. And they have no idea that I'm looking for a quarter. They don't know. I'm always embarrassed. I told you I'm older now. I have to go to the doctor a lot. My wife sends me to the doctor. I got checked. I got a full checkup. A man did that to the back of me. You know what I'm saying? A man put his finger in my ass. Well, a doctor, not a guy at the bus stop. Pardon me? How what? How hot was it? I bet like the moment right before you were gonna yell it out, you were thinking, oh, wait till they hear this. And then it came out, it didn't get the laugh you thought. Sometimes it feels funnier on the inside, and then when it comes out, it's not what you thought. You know what it is? It's like the verbal equivalent of thinking you're gonna fart, you shit yourself. But, even the clown is laughing. But he just puts his finger in there and he pulls it out and goes, you're okay. You know what, just ask. Just say, Howie, how are you? There's no reason to put a finger in there. You know, just ask. You know what I was thinking? I was thinking maybe my reputation preceded me. He doesn't shake hands. I'm just, hello. I'm just gonna do that. I know he doesn't like to touch hands. This is, I don't even know what it is. What is the test? What is the, no, this is not, well, no deal. Deal or no deal. The ad for tonight's performance, did it say come on in and chat with Howie? When you get tired on the midway, come on in. It's like, it's not a show, it's a seminar. It's a, but what is the test? Prostate health is very important. But I would think in this millennium, with the advancement of medical technology, they would come up with something more advanced, like something, like what kind of measurement? Can I just say, as a layman, if you're in the medical industry, take this back to your community. This doesn't instill a lot of confidence. Like how, you'd think there'd be a scope or a scan. This does nothing. How do you, even if you would just put a Sharpie and put a couple of notches on your finger, just to make us feel good, like, oh, look, Howie, you're up to 3, which is perfect for your height. His finger was in there, and you know what he says to me? Relax. Like I'm gonna doze off with a man's finger in my, don't laugh, I did. Because I'm comfortable around people and I'm very tired. So, and it's not funny because when I sleep, my sphincter's like this. From the time I was a kid, because Mom used to say, sleep tight, and I can't break that habit. And he's going, Howie, I have other patients. I have to, it's so weird. Oh. What are you saying again? What the hell are you talking about? Tomorrow, they'll say, where'd you go? I went to the X. What'd you do? I saw Howie Mandel. How was he? He was okay, but you should have heard me. He started me off, but I was on a roll. And at what point does it become a security problem? Maybe when you can hear it.
That's funny.
Maybe if you'd be looking this way, you'd know there was a problem, but no. Do you go home after work, turn on the TV, stand really close facing the wrong way?
What are you doing? I'm watching TV. Just want to make sure nobody on the couch, all you people, do not misbehave.
I go to the doctor a lot. I've told this story before, but I love telling these stories because they all happened in Toronto. My wife always sets up checkups. She sets up checkups for me because she says I don't take good care of myself. But I have a babysitter. She set up, I was supposed to go for a physical, and I went to the doctor's office, and when I got there, the doctor that she had set up the appointment with was not there. He was out sick. How good could he be? So there was an elderly gentleman who said, don't worry, it's a routine physical. Just come this way. And he takes me into an examining room and he asked me 100 questions. You know, and he says, what's your name? I said, I'm Howie Mandel. He doesn't recognize my name, knows nothing about what I do for a living. You know, do you smoke? Is there cancer in your family? Heart disease? And he asked me 100 questions and I start to get bored. And whenever I get bored, shit happens. So he says to me, after what seems like an eternity of questions, I'm about to give you a physical, is there anything I should know? And I said, yes. There isn't a yes, but I just said yes because I was bored. And he said, what is it? And this is my problem. I don't think things through. I don't edit myself. And I said, doctor, there's one thing, I don't know why I said this. There's a tone, there's a high-pitched tone emanating from my testicles. Can you check that? And he doesn't even flinch. He says, fine, drop your pants. Now I'm too embarrassed to say I'm only kidding because he wasn't laughing like many of you people right now. So I figured, Howie, you're an idiot. He's a doctor. You can live through this. You'll never do this shit again. So like an idiot, he stands up. I undo my belt. I pull down my pants and I'm standing there naked from the waist down in front of this man. And this is not I don't know. Now I'm uncomfortable because it's quiet. But this is the truth. He got down on one knee and he reached out and he clenched like a seashell to his ear. He's listening to my nuts and he looks up at me very clinically, very seriously, and he goes, well, I don't hear anything. This is how screwed up I am. I couldn't let it go. I go, well, doctor, is it possible they're light sensitive? Look, what are you talking about? I said, the only time we hear the tone is at night. My wife and I can't sleep. As soon as the lights go off, I don't know, it's like a whistling, like it's, oh, this will be a nice shot. This is a good shot. Okay, so you moved out of the way. Because me doing this with you in the shot doesn't look good for you, right? But anyway, so he goes, what are you talking? I said, well, when we turn off the lights in the room, it's like a buzzing sound, like a whistling, like a teapot. Can you check that? And he goes, fine. And you can tell he's starting to get pissed off, but he's trying to keep his professional decorum. So he gets up, he turns off the lights in the room. It's pitch black in the room. My pants are around my knees, and there's an elderly gentleman on his knees listening to my nuts in the dark. Now, wait. I could not see him, but I knew he was there because this is so embarrassing. His hair tickled. Ooh. So I start to go, so he gets up, turns on the light, and says, you're doing it with your mouth. And I go, shit, that's what it is. You, sir, are a diagnostic genius. And he said, get out and never come back again. I was banished. Kind of like Conklin did to me 57 years ago. I'm always being banished from Conklin and here and there.
Bobby!
What? So, what did you say?
Bobby!
Bobby? What do you want me to say? Isn't it weird of me living talking like this? For those that don't know, I see some younger people. In the 90s, I had a show on Fox and a bunch of other stations called Bobby's World. And I was the voice. I wrote it, and I was the voice. And Bobby talked like this. And you know how I started doing the voice? Right here in this town. I was 11 years old. I was at a birthday party, and I was choking on a piece of cake. It was halfway down my throat. I couldn't breathe, and I'm at the party going, help me! Can't breathe! What are you laughing at? I was dying. Call your sister. Tell her to come in from Scarborough. But the truth is, the cake got dislodged and I lived, but I thought to myself, oh my God, everybody at the party was looking at me. They were laughing at me. If I could just bring myself this close to death each and every night, I can be an entertainer. What, pardon me? Am I disgusting you? No, but you just came over and said, oh, you're so sweaty, you better wipe this up. Pardon me?
You look like you're, sweating a bit, so I thought I'd pretend to be nice.
Do you even work here? Is this an old towel you found in a... Because I don't know. You could be just somebody from the street who found this in a trash can, because I don't trust security. Pardon me?
We worked together. It came from your dressing room. It's all good.
We worked together in my dressing room. Right. Because I like to get a hand job before every show, and this guy... Okay. Thank you. Oh, the clown wants one now. Pardon me? Surgical glove story. What, you don't like the stories I'm telling?
Enough of your little shenanigans, Howie. I paid to get in this park. I'm sitting here at a free show. You better tell the shit I'm interested in.
Don't you go on with your own little stories. Well, let me finish with the Bobby thing. Yeah. I realized, everybody was looking at me and everybody was laughing at me. If I could just bring myself this close to death each and every night, I could be an entertainer. So I practiced in my room without the cake. And it's kind of like, you ever take a balloon and you stretch the nipple of the balloon and you push the air out and you go, woo, that's what's happening. My airway was blocked. Don't ever try it. Kids, don't try this. But when I tighten up my throat without anything, I just push air out. That's not my voice. I got good at it, went to school, and in the back of the class, in my friend's ear, I'd go, Howie. And he would laugh. The teacher would catch me and go, Howie Mandel, if you have something funny to say, you stand up and you tell the whole class. I remember thinking, she's right. Why perform for one person when I have a whole room here? So like an idiot, I would stand up and go, Howie. And she went, out in the hall. And I went, yes. Why play the small rooms when I could play the hall, when I could play the cafeteria, and one day, if I'm lucky, the bandstand at the CNE. It's like a dream come true. And then I went out to California, and I started doing voiceovers. The first one, I was on the Muppet Babies. Jim Henson's The Muppet Babies. I was Skeeter. Skeeter was Scooter's little sister. It's not that great. Skeeter talks like this, which is the exact same voice as Bobby. Bobby talks like this. Skeeter talks like this. And then I got all the Gremlin movies. Have you ever watched? I'm Gizmo, the first little fuzzy one that got. It's the same voice. He goes, Pepper McGuire. It's the same voice. So this is Skeeter, Bobby, Gizmo. It's the same voice. They're all the same. I did have one other voice. I could lower it so it sounded like I was in a terrible helium accident. And I would go to the emergency rooms of the hospital. I live in North York at Bathurst and Finch. And I would go into Branson Hospital to the emergency room. Yeah! It's the biggest cheer from this section since I've been up here. He mentioned the hospital I was in. I couldn't find a nurse for 10 minutes, but I found a patient from Branson Hospital. But anyway, I would go to the admitting nurse with the helium voice, and I'd go, excuse me, can I please speak to a doctor? And she would say, well, what's the problem? I'd go, what do you mean, what's the problem? I was at a birthday party. I wasn't the only one doing this. Everybody was doing this. They had the helium balloons. They sucked in the helium. Everybody's going, hoo-hoo, ha-ha, listen to me, not funny. Everybody's voice went back to normal within like a minute. Maybe a minute and a half. This is like two and a half weeks ago. So I am starting to get concerned. It's embarrassing. I'm a grown man. It's coming out of every orifice now. When I pass wind, it's like, no, don't applaud. You're just applauding. You're not applauding because that was that funny. You know why you're applauding? Because I ta-da'd. I've learned that on America's Got Talent and Canada's Got Talent. If somebody does this after, it makes whatever they did seem better than it actually was. You ever notice that? Even if a magician does a shitty trick, if he goes like this, you go, oh, that must have been terrific. Why would he You know what? Screw magic and show business. We should do it around the house to make things seem better than they actually are. Like, honey, I just took the garbage out. It was under the sink, and now it's gone. I told you I've been with my wife for 42 years now, so after sex, that's how I dismount. That way she thinks it was better than it actually was. It works. I hear her saying things like, wow, Howie, how'd you do it that fast? Just should never tell. I don't have to do that for sex. Sex is always good. Are there people like me that have been in long relationships right here? You? How long?
Since 2003.
Since 2000, that's not a lot. That's not that long. Are there people that are married couple here that's been in a...
28.
Huh? We've been married for 5 years. Wow. Do you not hear the question? Man, have I been in the States so long where even years have an exchange rate? I've been married for 42 years. Anybody else been in a long relationship?
Yeah, we've been together 5 years.
But with our relationship, it feels like 40. Do you think that's a long relationship? Pardon me? 10 years together. So is that long? And is the sex as good as it always has been? You'd say better. He's not saying anything. It's not good. He's not saying anything. What? He's not saying anything. Here's what, I don't want to get you in trouble, sir. It's probably, it's nice. He goes, it's nice. Like it would be nice if I had some. Here's what I'll say, because I'll tell you something that it's probably as good as it's always been. It's just not as frequent as when you first were going out. Is that true? Yes. And it's always the ladies. You see, when we go out at the beginning, men, women, we're the same. We want to do it all the time. We want to have fun. And then as the years go on, women, you make excuses. You make ridiculous excuses to not have sex. You do, yes, you do. And we don't understand them, but we love you. So like my wife will make an excuse. We don't say what we're thinking. We just cry a little. We roll over and we go to sleep. But women, you make excuses like, this is one that makes no sense to us. Not tonight, I have a... So how do you know that? You know what we're thinking? So what? I will be nowhere near your head. I will be way down here. I'll be in and out like a mouse. That's like saying, I can't go dancing, my finger hurts. Like, what are you even doing? What do you say? It happens in my marriage. And I said, I went home after a show like this. And my wife is beautiful. My wife is still beautiful and sexy. And I go home after a show like this. Ask him. He's had her too. I'll tell her. So anyway. Okay, Raul, thank you. Write that down. I want to tell my wife that Raul wants to do her. Raul from the exhibition would like to have sex. He's finished with all the rides on the Midway and he's moved on to my wife. Welcome back to the X. If I let her do that, then she becomes the X. See what I did there? I took this and rolled it into a whole thing. But I went home one night, she was lying in bed, the lights were on, she was reading a book, she's lying in bed, and I wanted to do something. I was feeling a little frisky, and I looked at her and went, honey, you want? And she didn't want to. She didn't want to, but let me tell you, you know what her excuse was? This was her excuse. She goes, Howie, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. That was her excuse. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. You know what I was thinking? I didn't say it, but do you know what I was thinking? What time does your vagina close? Why don't you just lower your panties so I can read the hours and I will never, ever be late again. I was so afraid. I told that on the Tonight Show, and I was so afraid to go home because I didn't know how she would react to that story. And well, I figured I knew how she would react to that story, the same way she'd react if I brought Raul back to the hotel. This is Raul from the exhibition. And we got here before too. But she answers the door. I want to tell you how funny and wonderful the girl I married is. She answers the door. She's got a note on her pants. You know what it says? Back in 20. Oh, boy. She gets so mad at me. You know what she got mad at me recently for? She got mad at me for peeing in the shower. How many people, just by show of hands, pee in the shower? Yeah. See, I'm not the only one. I wish she was here with me. She could see that. It's not so much I peed in the shower. She said I didn't follow the rule. She has a rule about peeing in the shower. This is her rule. She said, Howie, if you are going to pee in the shower, you have to be taking a shower. She was. Anyway. Oh my God. My kids came back. I'm showing them the X and I'm walking them around, showing them this is where I had my first job. So I'm so proud of my kids. My daughter does a podcast with me called Howie Mandel Does Stuff, wherever podcasts are available.
Love it.
My other daughter is a physical therapist and a trainer and whatever. And my son, he works with me. He produces my. He's great. I mean, I didn't know that he was going to be. I'll tell you this. My son. He was supposed to be homeschooled. My wife wanted him homeschooled, but this is a little embarrassing. He was not accepted. And I'll never forget the day where he was sitting on the bed reading the notes, because he knows our handwriting, and that's always really...
Aww.
Well, all of a sudden you became from an audience to critics. I don't like that one now. I didn't like that one. Can I be totally honest with you? I actually finished my show 5-6 minutes ago. I just didn't leave. A lot of acts have a big ending. Well, she's going like this. She's going like that. But
I want you to tell everybody.
you want everybody to tell what?
No. I want you to tell everybody about you with the chocolate bar in the swimming pool.
You want me to tell everybody?
Yes.
Did somebody say now I'm opening it up to the floor? I'm taking requests. They've heard that story a million times. I got thrown out of high school for not wanting to swim because you live here. I lived here. Swimming class was always the last period of the day. I would go home. It was so cold that my hair would freeze off. And now look at me. So in order to get out of swimming, they did it in movies after I did this. But I got an O. Henry bar and I threw it in the pool. So people thought there was some brown lung thing at the bottom of the pool, and then it spread all over the school, and everybody in the school showed up at the end of the day to see who crapped in the pool, and I couldn't help myself. I dived in and came up with it in my mouth, and I was asked to leave that school. Is that the story you were asking about?
Yeah!
I noticed here I was going along the Midway that there are, is there like a scene? Are there slot machines? Yeah, yes. Do they have the Deal or No Deal machine, like at Dave & Buster's? No. Oh, I was just playing Vegas a while back, and they had the Deal or No Deal machine. And when I go to Vegas, my wife will bring like another couple, because I'm a Kermit and I hang out in my room. She went down to the casino, and Louie and Kathy, this other couple that are friends of ours, they were playing the Deal or No Deal machine. And she calls me, she goes, Howie, you gotta see this. Louie just hit the jackpot. He won $10,000 on Deal or No Deal. And you have to know, this will pay all their debts. This will change their life. Their life's changed. Howie, you gotta see this. So I put on my coat, I run out of the room, down the hall, into the elevator, across the casino. I see the lights going off. Louie and Kathy are standing there. She's crying. They're peeling off $100 bills. I go up and I give them a big hug, and everybody's crying. And I notice all these flashes around me. And then I look, everybody's taking pictures, and I realize they don't know that these are my friends. They think that if you hit the jackpot on the Deal or No Deal machine, Howie Mandel shows up to give you a hug. So I see everybody looking at me and I go, oh shit, somebody just hit in Reno. I gotta go. You know what I want to do? I want my inspiration for doing comedy. When I was a little kid here, my parents, even when I was like 5 or 6 years old, used to watch Candid Camera. That was the favorite. Alan Funt is like my hero.
I love it.
And I always would do, the same thing like the chocolate bar. I like doing things like that where I'd see people react. And I'm always doing them. And I've done a couple of television shows with pranks, and I've done it, but even when I'm not on television, I'm always doing pranks. So I brought a little piece of video. I want you to see like what I do in my real life. And this is one where I took my son, this is a few years back, when I took my son for a haircut. I took him to Supercuts. And when I get there, I was really bored, and I carry a backpack with me everywhere, and I have cameras. I have camera glasses. I have these glasses, and there's a camera in the bridge of my nose. and I noticed I was getting bored while he was getting a haircut, and I noticed nobody was getting shampooed. So I went to the back where they were doing shampoos, and I grabbed one of those robes that you get shampooed on with, and I put it on because it said Supercuts and it made me look official, and I put on those glasses, and I put a bandana on so you couldn't tell I had a bald head, and I go to the front where people are waiting, and I go, who's next for shampoo? And people put up their hand, and I said, come with me, and I became the shampoo boy at Supercuts. I swear to you, it's real, until they asked me to leave. This is the video of me shampooing people's hair at Supercuts. Watch it. Can you see the screens from here? Yeah, watch it on the screens and watch. This is me. Like, this is the guy from Toronto. I like this more than doing shows, more than stage, more than anything. Watch the screens.